Leave a like, I'll give you nothing. I mean, come on, man. At least I'm being honest. Now, but what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got a brand new story, and today is a story that I don't normally tell these stories, but they are pretty interesting. And today is a story of a high school fight. Ooh, just a little disclaimer. Obviously, don't get into any of these. You're kind of dumb if you do, and you'll definitely suffer the consequences. Now, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's just hop right into the story. And I'm going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Liam. So anyways, right, Liam was a senior in high school. In all fairness, Liam admits that he was not doing so well, but he was honestly just trying to get through, graduate, and then, I don't know, get a job right out of high school. And he just needed to make sure that he got his high school diploma and he'd be fine. So he's out there grinding in his classes, and there's another kid who's in like half the classes with Liam as well. This guy's name was Ben. Ben was also not doing well in his classes, but he was doing like significantly worse than Liam. And at this track, he just probably was not even going to graduate and would probably just drop out or something. However, this kid Ben was kind of just some jerk, right? Because apparently Ben would just go around and just mess with people. Like Ben would just mess with people for no good reason other than Ben was bored and, you know, Ben wanted to mess with people. That was the legit reason why he would just like, I don't know. That's like what he would do every day. And this all started one day when Liam, woke up after getting like 2 hours of sleep. Because Liam admits, because this all happened a little while ago, Liam tells me in the DM, because he submitted the story to my Instagram, he says, "Hey man, I was kind of an idiot in high school. There's a reason why I sucked in my classes. It's because Liam would stay up every single night till like 5 in the morning playing like MW2 with his friends or something like that, right? He doesn't regret it, yet he also regrets it. Like, he regrets having no hours of sleep every night and doing poorly in class, but also those were some of like the greatest times where he made the most memories. So it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of a mixed bag, and at least Liam feels that way in retrospect. But anyways, right, this all started on a normal day, or what seemed to be a normal day for Liam. He woke up with 2 hours of sleep in the tank, waking up basically dead, like a zombie, gets out of bed, brushes his teeth, puts on his backpack, walks out, and gets into the bus, gets into school completely dead, right? So he gets into school, he's just like in the hallway, he puts his like bag or whatever, or he goes to his locker, and is just chilling there. He's honestly just like trying to like wake up, he's trying to de-thaw, and that's when he feels himself get pushed into the side of his locker. Boom! Gets hit into it. And he's just like, what? So he kind of like he kind of whips around, and he looks, and this kid, Ben, was like laughed and walked by him. So it's pretty clear that it was Ben, the one who shoved him into the locker. And at this point, like part of Liam and a big part of Liam really wanted to just go over there, just like smack him in the face or something, just push him back. Because Liam definitely was like, hey, if you're pushing me, I'm going to push you back, right? However, Liam was also like, just hold your tongue, bro. It's too early in the morning for this. I just got to graduate. Like, I can't be getting in trouble. Like, that's just not what I want to see. Let's just stay focused, man. That guy sucks, but it's just not worth it. So Liam was actually able to convince himself that it just all wasn't really worth it and that he shouldn't be doing anything like that. Fast forward to later on in the day. And so later in the day, Liam's in class, and this is one of the many classes he has with Ben. And he's sitting there, and, he gets there on time or whatever, and the teacher is like, handing out tests, because the day is a test day. I think it was like a math class, and math was like the one class that like Liam was actually pretty good at. He just kind of understood it, and if you don't really need to study a ton if you understand it, right? So Liam was doing actually pretty all right. He's going through the test, and he sees that like Ben is not in class, but that's not out of the ordinary. This kid isn't doing well in the first place. But sure enough, Ben comes in 10 minutes late, and he grabs the test from the teacher, who kind of gives him a look of like, dude, you out of everyone, like this test, everyone's going to need the full hour, but out of everyone in the class, you're the person who needs it the most. Like, you are the last person who should be getting here 10 minutes late, man. Like, legitimately, you are the last person who should be getting here so late, man. But anyways, right, he takes the test, he sits down, and he intentionally sits down right next to Liam, because he knows that while Liam is, in his own words, kind of an idiot, he is good at this one class, and he's very good at this one. I mean, very good. He passes, right? He's good enough at this one class to hold like a B in the class, which is like Algebra 2. It's tough, so I respect that. And so anyways, Ben sits down next to Liam, and Liam kind of notices him coming in 10 minutes late or whatever, and he looks over and kind of glances over, then glances back. And about a minute in, he feels a tap on his shoulder. So he looks up, and sure enough, it is Ben leaning over. He's like, hey, man, what's the answer for number 2? And Liam's like, I don't know, man, sorry. It was very clear that, like, Liam had filled out the answer for number 2. So Ben's like, hey, I know you know the answer. Like, why aren't you telling me? And Liam's like, sorry, man. He's like, or I guess Liam whispers back, like, sorry, I don't know. Liam was not going to give this kid the answer, right? I mean, this kid, Ben, was bored. I mean, he did this to everyone, but, you know, it wasn't like he was picking on Liam specifically and only Liam. However, this kid, you know, just like an hour ago or a couple hours ago, decided to push him into his locker because he was bored and wanted to mess with someone. And then a couple hours later, he's like, hey, man, can I give you the answers? No. How about you think about that next time before you shove me into a locker, dude? But anyways, right? At this point, you know, Liam is like, goes back to doing his test. He gets another tap from Ben. Ben's like, hey, like, why are you helping me out, man? And Liam responds again because he's not trying to like get caught talking with someone during the test because then they both get in trouble. And Liam really can't afford to take an L in this class because he's taking a pretty fat L in all the other classes. He turns around and he's like, dude, you just like 2 hours ago, you shoved me into the locker. Like, I'm not going to help you out. And Ben's like, bro, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. I was just messing around. Come on, help me out. And Liam's like, dude, I'm just not going to do that. So Ben is like pretty annoyed at this. And eventually, you know, Liam's done with his test. So he gets up and, you know, hands in the test, and he's just like, you know, whatever. He gets out, walks out like 5 minutes early, and yeah, sure enough, Ben does not do well in this test. I mean, he sucked in this class. He didn't study at all. He barely showed up at all, and on the day he did, there just happened to be a test, and yeah, he pretty much failed it, pretty much bombed it. But this story gets a little bit more interesting because Liam and Ben met each other in the hallway again. It was after class. Liam was walking to his next class. He went to his locker to grab his stuff and chill out for a second. And on his way to walking to the next class, he runs into Ben. And Ben just stops him. He just like straight arms him. And Liam's like, oh, he's like, what's up? Like, what's good? And Ben's like, bro, you just completely messed up that class for me. Like, I'm going to be failing that class because of you. And Liam's like, bro, okay, hold up 1 second. You are already failing that class. There's not, you're failing it because of me. And also, you're not failing it just because you failed that test. You were failing it a long time before. Third of all, you pushed me into the locker today for no good reason. Then you expect me to, like, do something for you? Bro, it just doesn't work that way. And the kid's like, bro, you messed up my entire... First of all, the thing I did, Ben's all like, the thing I did earlier, not that serious. But you know what? This test was that serious. You and I have serious beef now. At this point, Liam's like, all right, fine. I'll see you around. And Ben's like, whoa, and steps in front of him, right? He's like, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. That's not how it's going to go. And Liam's like, just let me out of the way. And at this point, a crowd is starting to form around, and I just got to slap another disclaimer. Guys, don't be stupid and do this. Like, Liam even told me in the DMs that he's an idiot for ever doing this because he really jeopardized even getting a high school diploma. Stay out of this. Even if someone instigates it, you're not like, oh, wow, you're such a wimp for not fighting back. No, right? In most situations, especially high school ones, just step out of it. You're not being a wimp. You're just not being an idiot, okay? In most situations, right? It's not an not overarching for everything always. It's not an always case, right? But in most cases, just stay out of it, man. Anyways, so sure enough, you know, Liam is just kind of like, let me get out of here, right? And there's a whole crowd forming around. And that's when Ben decides to push him again. And look, at this point, Ben pushed him in the morning, totally messed up his morning. Ben tried to have him cheat with him and then got mad at him because he didn't. And then Ben pushed him again. Look, this kid had it coming for a while. So Liam did what he thought was fine. And Liam pushed him back, right? Whatever. But Liam's push was a little bit more forceful than he expected. And yeah, the kid, Ben, just went flying backwards. He tripped over someone else, fell down onto the floor. And for a second, it looked like he was knocked out cold. Liam immediately regretted his decisions. He's like, oh, shoot. Because he knew that, he's going to get in trouble for this. So many people witnessing. For all he knows, a teacher's going to walk by and see what went down or whatever. So Liam kind of looks around, sees that, Ben's fine. A couple people go over and Ben is kind of getting up already. Maybe Ben's going in for round 2, trying to, actually swing on him. But at this point, Liam's like, all right, I'm not going to get involved in this. There's no way. So Liam decides to, gets up, walks out, and is kind of just power walking to like the edge of class, or not the edge of class, the edge of the school. He's trying to find a door. He's just trying to like step outside. So Liam is supposed to be going to a class right now, but he's just not doing that. He's just going to skip the rest of the days, which maybe was a bad idea in retrospect. But yeah, he decides to he walks out of there, power walks out of there, finds a door, and just goes outside and just chills out behind the school. And at this point, Liam is just kind of freaking out because he's like, dude, what if I get expelled or something like that? Because like the punishment at this school was not very universal, or it wasn't a very, consistent. So some kids would get like a day in school suspension for fighting. Some kids would be straight up expelled. Each of the times the cases for the fighting was different, and like how bad it was different. But Liam at this point just didn't know what the extent was. He was already halfway through his senior year. He was so close to finishing. He just couldn't afford getting expelled and getting in trouble. He was already kind of on thin ice with his mom, because his mom was not a fan of how he was doing it in his classes, not a fan of how things were going with his friends, what he was doing in his free time. There's a lot of reasons why Liam was already on thin ice with his mom, and just getting in trouble like this just would not have made the situation better. So at the very best, he barely gets out of this. But let's say that he gets in trouble. Liam knows that at the very best, his mom is going to be super mad at him, and life at home is going to suck a little bit worse. And at worst, that's going to be true as well. He's going to be kicked out, and just figuring out how to finish high school is going to be so difficult. He might try and get a GED, but he doesn't want to study for that. So yeah, it's a bad situation, and Liam is just standing there. But the situation gets worse when he sees the door open up. Because remember, Liam's just kind of sitting, he's kind of leaning against the brick wall in the back of the school, and that's when he sees like the emergency exit that doesn't actually attach to the alarm or anything open up, and this officer walks out. Yeah, a police officer walks out. If you made it this far into the video, comment, what do you want to comment? Comment officer down below, or cop or police or whatever. Comment one of those things down below. Those will be the secret words of the day. I'll try and heart as many comments as I can that say that. So if you want to farm some hearts, maybe get top commenter on the channel, make sure to comment that down below. And also, if you want to support the channel, the best thing you can do is just binge watch my old videos. I will be linking my Storytime playlist of all my videos in the pinned comment. That's a really easy way to help out, just by putting that on in the background while you're doing something. Let me know in the comment section down below if you're watching old videos and helping me out. And yeah, let's get back to it. So yeah, anyways, Liam is just chilling out there. He's kind of like leaning up against a brick wall, kind of just trying to calm himself down. And that's when the police officer walks in. And it was kind of like the school cop or whatever. I think he did some other jobs as well, but he was kind of the school cop, right? And he walks out there, and he actually knows Liam. He doesn't know him like super well or super personally, but there was like some other thing Liam got involved in a couple years ago that just wasn't long enough of a story, or important enough of a story to make it on the channel, right? But basically, Liam was like framed for something, and he got out of it. So this police officer at least has some kind of relationship with Liam. So he doesn't he doesn't go too hard on him, but he's like, hey man. Liam's like, hey. Police officer's like, heard you got in a fight. Liam's like, yeah. Because at this point, Liam, he just knew at this point lying would have made it worse. Because if the police officer was looking for him and came after him to say, hey, I know you got in a fight, yeah, Liam can't get himself out of there. There's probably a lot of eyewitness accounts. Probably a teacher saw what was going on. At this point, Liam knew he would have been better off just coming clean, because he's already been caught. And the police officer's like, okay, well, thanks for not making this more difficult than it needs to be. Do you want to come with me? Just got to stop you off in the principal's office. And the officer knew that Liam was like at heart a good kid, so he felt bad about it, and he was happy that like Liam was being up front and not trying to like be like, no man, I didn't do it, I swear. And Liam's like, yeah, okay. He just kind of like accepts his fate, walks inside. The officer walks him to the principal's office, and in the principal's office, Ben was sitting there, and the principal was sitting there, and neither of them looked very happy. So principal, as soon as, as Liam walks in, is like, hey, Liam, how about you have a seat there? And Liam's like, ah, shoot. Could already tell from the tone of voice that he was screwed. Sits down. She's like, Liam, why did you push this kid? And Liam's like, well, and he's like, he was about to say, oh, because you pushed me first, but he immediately knew that was going to get the response, well, just because like someone pushes you doesn't mean you can push them back or whatever. You should have been more mature and, I don't know, used your words or gotten a teacher or something like that. But yeah, anyways, he's like, yeah, you're not going to like this, but, you know, he pushed me first, so I pushed back. And sure enough, the principal's like, should have used your words, should have, like, turned him in or whatever, should have gotten, like, I don't know, like, you shouldn't have fought him back. You should have done anything besides fighting him back. Because here, look at where we are now. And Liam's like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry, like, it's my bad. The principal turns to Ben, is like, what are you doing going around pushing kids? Like, why are you doing that? Ben's like, I don't know, bored? She's like, well, this boredom, and turns to both of them, is going to get you guys in trouble. Like, maybe if you collectively use this bored energy to study in your classes, then you guys would be on the honor roll because you guys got a lot of bored energy by the looks of your transcripts. And Liam and Ben kind of just look at the ground like, okay, man, you don't need to be rubbing this in. Is it really necessary to be rubbing this in like this right now? Is it really necessary? Like, I don't know. But yeah, so the principal goes and say, all right, well, good news. You guys are not expelled. And immediately, Liam, just like this small pit in like Liam's stomach just dissipates. Because it didn't really feel like he was about to be expelled by the way that she was talking with them, with kind of like a tone and an attitude. Because normally when you're about to be expelled, it's a lot more serious, right? So, he didn't really believe that, but just the fact that she was coming out and saying, you guys are not being expelled, just made him feel better inside. He knew he was going to get a punishment either way. And she's like, well, you guys are going to get a week of in-school suspension. And that would kind of hit them a little hard because, in-school suspension's normally dished out for a couple days or you get expelled. But this is like the first time that they decide, like, I think the principal was like, I'm not going to expel these seniors that are halfway, like almost at graduation, but I am going to make them pay for it. Whole week of in-school suspension, terrible, right? Liam had like one of the worst weeks of his life, or at least one of the most boring ones. But at least he didn't get expelled. Moral of the story, please don't get in a school fight. It's the dumbest thing ever. Don't do it. And, stay in school, kids. Study hard. That's the lessons you get from the Pugs channel. Help the channel out by watching another video. Drop a like. Thank you. Bye.